Hey everyone, it's your girl Jenny, and today we are going to be starting a new reading vlog. I have severely neglected my channel when it comes to long form content, so we are back to doing that. But before I get started, I'm gonna go over the 3 most recent books that I have read. That way you guys can get an idea of like the kinds of books that I read. On my Kindle, I read A Girl's Girl by Deathly Rose. That is an extreme horror story, which is one of my favorite genres of books. So that one included lots of feminine rage and revenge, which I absolutely loved. It was bloody, it was brutal, so definitely checked off many boxes. But if you are curious about checking this book out, I do recommend checking out the trigger warnings because, again, it is very brutal. Then I also read Patron Saint of Pendejas by Nix Murguia, or I think this book was actually under her name, Haunt Girl Nix. I really enjoyed this one. Nix Murguia is an excellent writer and includes a lot of like Latin culture and representation in her stories. As a Latina, I admire her work so much. With that being said, this is a Latin romance story. It's not extremely spicy, which I know is not always everyone's cup of tea. Personally, I love the spice, but this one was just nice. It had some spicy scenes, but it revolved mainly about the story. And then most recently I read Aniba by Greer. A lot of people recommended this story to me because I really loved the movie Companion. Now I do have to say they both revolve around like robots and AI and things like that, but they're not exact matches. So if you really like Companion, you might enjoy this one, but just go into this book knowing it's not going to be just like the movie. And the movie's not based off this book, because I think that's where a lot of people get confused as well. They are very different stories. So now for the reading vlog part. I don't know what I want to read. I actually have a TBR jar that I pull from whenever I don't know what to read. However, I am going to Books and Brews in less than 2 weeks, which is a horror convention type of thing, and I know I'm going to be buying several books, like, let's be honest, and I really want to reset this after Books and Brews. That way I can get like a full physical TBR count and do this TBR jar justice. Said I went through my bookshelf and I pulled a couple of books that kind of stood out to me right now, and these are it. First we have Acts of Desperation by Nolan, and I have to cover this because it is somewhat of an explicit cover. It is beautiful, but I don't know if YouTube is going to like that. I love a very flawed and messy character. This one just keeps screaming at me, and this is the first sentence. The first time I saw him, I pitied him terribly. So right off the bat, you get some personality from our main character, and that kind of drew me to it already. I have also been eyeing Fantasticland by Bockoven, and it says right here that it is a modern take on Lord of the Flies meets Battle Royale that probes the consequences of a social civilization built online. Now, I don't know what Battle Royale is, but I do know that Lord of the Flies was required reading growing up, so I kind of have a very general idea of what this could entail. But what really intrigues me about this is that it is presented as a fact-finding investigation and a series of first-person interviews. However, I started the first interview and it just didn't catch me, so I might have to put a pause on this. Third one that caught my attention is Tastes Like Candy 2, Sugarless by Tholen. Now, I read the first book in the series last year and I absolutely loved it. However, the bar is really high and I have been a little hesitant to pick up book 2 just because I'm a little nervous that it's not going to meet my expectations, but it just sounds so good. Like, it gives slasher vibes and I really want to get into it. So these are the 3 books I'm deciding between, and to be honest, Acts of Desperation is probably going to be my #1 pick. However, it is still summer and I really want summertime vibes, and I feel like these 2 fit that even more, and slasher sounds pretty freaking good. So I'm gonna start off with Tastes Like Candy. What an interesting start to the story. The first page is our main character, Dusty, talking about how there's a video of her online peeing because her mom had a mommy blog, you know, talking about her experiences training Dusty to potty train. And it's just, I don't know how this applies to the story and the relevance, but let's continue. Okay, now I see the relevance because now she is going into her and her mom's relationship. So got it. Ooh, she's talking about an interaction with her mom, okay? I begged her to take the blog post down. I told her I didn't want to be on her social media, didn't want my past plastered on her blog, didn't want to take part in her stupid attempts at viral videos. And I feel like this is so relevant to like today's culture because there are so many like family accounts, and I just don't know how these kids are gonna feel growing up knowing that every part of their lives was documented and shared with the whole world to see. And I feel like over the next few years we're gonna get so many different exposés and like behind the scenes of what it really was like growing up in this kind of family. Oh my god, this mom is crazy. It's a good way to have constant content. We have to feed the algorithm or I lose followers. How is that on your children? I don't know if she has more than one kid. How is that on your child? Is that their responsibility for your account? You don't have to pimp us out to sell spinach flavored Kool-Aid. That is so funny. This mom is like one of those called an almond mom where they want their children to be skinny and then often make comments about their body, because this mom is driving me fucking nuts. This mom is a fucking joke. She needs therapy. This is going to be a slight spoiler. So book one revolved around a senior scavenge where some girls from high school were picked going into their senior year, and they had to do the scavenger hunt. Unfortunately, there was a serial killer who was taking them out one by one, and that's the whole premise of the story, right? However, the mom made a comment about that night, how girls died due to a car accident. So it's almost like there's some shady shit going on. And so I read the back here and it says exactly what I thought. According to the people of Beldam, the senior scavenge never happened. So they're definitely hiding some things, and I'm really curious to see like how this is going to go. Okay, there's one normal thing about this mom, and it's that she watches old episodes of Jersey Shore. I love that show. I am so glad Dusty has her dad, because this is an argument between her dad and her mom. She's like, you don't value my work. He's like, you only have 45,000 followers. My admin assistant's cat has 2 million. She's like, I'm building a community. And he's like, you should be building your kid. Look at this. Wait, can you tap on the coffee?
Right.
No, on the screen. Look at that. So pretty. Thank you. Let's see. That's good. For a snack, I'm having a concha. I haven't had a concha in so long. Quick reading update. It is the 4th of July and they are at the 4th of July festival or whatever. Dusty is with her so-called friends, and one of her friends accidentally texted her saying that she's such a perpetual victim, sitting here watching videos of herself and crying about it. And the friend was like, holy shit, you sent that to the wrong group chat. Imagine getting that text from your friend that you are a perpetual victim. That's crazy. Apparently there's a group chat, like the main group chat, without Dusty. It's so we can talk without having to listen to you bitch about your mom. We are headed out for the evening, so I'll bring you guys with me just in case I do any more reading. I'm definitely not reading in the car today just because I feel like this is one of those days where I would get car sick. I'm bringing it just in case if I want to read later. But we are at Music Box and we are hoping that Ricky can get in to see a live broadcast. And for me, I'm just here for the vibes. So really good news, Ricky was able to get tickets for the show. I'm so excited for him. There was a ticket available for me as well, but I declined because honestly, I'm here for the vibes. I love Chicago, and honestly, I just want to read. He's gonna watch the show. I believe they're gonna play a movie, and then they're gonna do the live show because it's a film podcast, and I will be reading. So it's like a win-win for both of us. I don't know if you can hear me because the music is loud, but I just got to a plot twist in the book and shocked. Absolutely shocked. So I don't know if you were able to hear me because the music is really loud here. I just got to an insane plot twist in the book that I did not see coming, and I am enjoying it very much. It is now almost 9:30, and I'm gonna go across the street to grab some food because I am starving. And I'm gonna continue reading because I think the movie gets out at like 10:15, so in like 30 to 45 minutes, and then on top of that, they're gonna have the live podcast, which is another 30 to 45 minutes. So the restaurant that I'm going to is actually literally right across the street from the theater, but I don't feel like jaywalking, and I feel like I need to walk, so I'm gonna walk down to the light and then cross the street. So far I'm having a really good day. One thing about Chicago is the weather is so freaking crazy. It was hot and humid earlier today, and now I wish I had a jacket. But it's okay because we're a bad bitch and we'll be fine. I don't know if you can hear me, but I found myself a nice little quiet corner, and it's really cute. So Ricky's podcast is done, and he met up with me at the restaurant, but he's eating right now. Yeah. And after he's done, we are actually going to head home because it is already 11 p.m. on a Sunday, and we both have work tomorrow. But I had a great night, and I'm glad you had a great night too.
Thank you.